Hello there, my fellow language learners, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I want to speak a little bit more about language learning with young children and really taking inspiration from them. You might not be really young, you might not have children in your life, but I strongly recommend you try to learn languages the way children do. I think the older that we get, the more important it is to take notes from children. The more important it is to have a beginner's mind. Remember Shunryu Suzuki, the Japanese Zen master? He said, in the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, but in the expert's mind, there are few. As we get older and older, more experienced, more knowledgeable, we tend to think we know it all and there's nothing more we can learn, or there's no new ways that we can try. Yes, there is. It's so important to constantly be adopting or putting on that beginner's mind, keeping your mind open. So the example I have for you is the other day my daughter came home and she asked me to put on a certain cartoon to watch. Now this is something I encourage her to do because I like to give her a lot of exposure to different types of cartoons, different types of music, different types of books. I think the more variety, the better, because it can draw out different facets of her personality. I can start to learn what sort of affinities she has or what abilities she has. So she will often suggest different cartoons that she's heard about somewhere, maybe from some friend, and I'll put it on and we'll watch it together. So the other day she came home. By the way, we live in China. I forgot to mention that. Her mom, my wife, is Chinese. So we're raising her to be bilingual in Mandarin and English. Those are the main target languages. But she came home and she's 4.5 and she asked to watch Ultraman. I don't know if you know Ultraman, but he kind of looks like a Power Ranger and he fights aliens. He has a silver and red costume. And this is a TV show which comes from Japan. It started in the 60s. And I had heard about it a little bit in China because it's popular among Chinese people. I hadn't heard about it before I came to China. I never knew about it from my background in America. But I since learned it's popular in China and popular in many countries in the world. It's a very long-standing and popular franchise, Ultraman. You can check it out. So I put this on. I found it on YouTube. Actually, you can watch it right on YouTube. Japanese language with English subtitles. It was there. So we put it on and we really had fun watching it. It's cheesy, but in a good way. It was kind of lighthearted and cool, especially to watch with my daughter. Like, we had fun with it. Now, again, they were speaking Japanese. Subtitles were in English. My daughter obviously can't understand Japanese, nor can I, and she can't read English that well yet. Especially not that level or that fast. She knows some words now she can read, but she's just starting out on her reading journey. But what I did was I took this as an opportunity to talk to her more about Japan, what I knew about Japanese culture, Japanese language, where it is on the map compared to China. I talked about how this TV show comes from Japan. It's popular in China. It might have influenced Power Rangers in America. I thought so. Kind of looked like Power Rangers was ripping off this show. You know, Power Rangers was so popular in like the 90s when I grew up, but it looks a lot like how the Ultraman TV shows go. But basically, this was an opportunity for me to learn more. I learned things about the show from her suggestion, and she learned from me what I already knew about Japan. So this is what I mean about how to learn. Good learning can happen regardless of age and regardless of who you're teamed up with. I love to learn in mixed age, mixed ability groups. I feel like that's so much fun and it makes the conversation so rich. But I often meet language learners who only want to study with people of their same ability level. They are striving for efficiency, which I get, and I'm not really against it, whatever floats your boat. But the thing is, I think sometimes in their pursuit of in their singular pursuit of efficiency for themselves, they strip away some of the essence or some of the meaning of what it means to be a language learner. Because to be a great language learner, I think, means to be a great human. So many of those qualities are actually the same for those two things. And when you learn in a group of people that come from different backgrounds, they have different ages, they have different abilities, they know different things. And if everybody can have the patience to listen and learn from each other, then you're going to have a great exchange, and you would learn things you wouldn't otherwise when you're just sticking with people who are at your same level all the time. There's a saying, and I'm going to butcher it, but there's a good saying from Confucius in China that something like, in a group of friends on the road, or maybe it's something like, in a group of 3 people, one of them can be my teacher, or something like that. I forget how it goes exactly, but the basic meaning is you get just a few people together, and somebody in that group could be a great teacher for you. They're going to know some things that you don't in some areas. And if you're humble enough and you're open enough, you can learn a lot. So that's kind of what happened with me and my daughter. So I have 2 kids. My daughter's 4.5. My son is a little over 1. And people will often ask me, because I'm a dad and because I'm a language learner, how do you learn languages with your kids? They want the formula, they want the playbook. But sometimes if you try to find a formula or a playbook to follow, then you're already missing the point, because children learn so well without any rules or guidelines or books or classes, because of their very nature, the way that they are. They're so open and willing to learning. They don't have so many walls up or so many barriers up that we adults do, that, we get in our own way so often when we think, when we're trying to avoid being embarrassed or making mistakes, for example. That's the wall that we put up. It's like a kind of a mental prison that we stay inside of. Or if we think we already learned all we need to know, or we think we're better than the other people, we also close ourselves off. So young people don't really do that. Young children stay incredibly open. So I don't really like to call it a formula or a playbook, but I just say to them, try to keep things fun so that you don't get bored. Try to do things that are at your level. This is good advice for yourself or when you work with children. Keep it fun. Do things that are at your level. This helps you to sustain the act of language learning for years and years and years. When it's fun and when it's at your level, you keep up with it and you do it more. And then also a great variety in terms of exposure to different source material and also different mediums. So you want to use TV shows, you want to use books, you want to use music, you want to take trips to places, visit the museums, visit the art exhibits, go to the language exchanges online or in person. And that variety informs your way of thinking, your way of being. You have more to draw upon when you meet other people in the world and converse. So it's this upward spiral or this upward cycle that just becomes more and more rich as you flourish in your language learning. So I hope this advice can help you. If you take away nothing else from this video today, take away this. Learn languages as children do. I'll leave you with a quote from Mencius in China. He said that a great person is someone who has not lost their childlike heart. So we actually can become more human and even more of ourselves, or even more as adults, when we take notes from children and learn all we can from them in terms of how do they think, how do they behave, and reintegrate, or rather reopen that part of ourselves that maybe we've lost touch with. I'll see you back here in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.